Like, how is this happening in our world? I have children of my own. And it's like, I'm glad my kids are old enough that they're not growing up like little kids in this era. And I don't think any of that kind of stuff would happen in our town. But it's happening in the towns right next to us. When they're having the drag shows and all that stuff, and you have little kids putting dollar bills in these people's.
You still got kids young enough that are
Golly, man.
You're right, they're not really young.
Yeah. This is something else.
It's crazy. It's a crazy time. Like, I feel for people with kids.
Oh, yeah.
Their kids are growing up in this system, the school system, the way it is, like just in general. Everything is crazy.
I appreciate the parents that are really, really good parents. That care. They get on their kids, make sure that their kids are trying to go down the straight and narrow, give them a little space so they can make some mistakes of their own, because you only learn from your mistakes, but not bad mistakes. It's like, be involved in your kids' lives. So,
sorry, glitch.
That's all right. But I applaud a good parenting. Good parenting. Just love your kids and let them know you love them, because there's a lot of distractions for them. There's a lot of peer pressure for them to do all kinds of crazy things and go astray and try new things that will be detrimental to their health and to their careers, even like getting into college, especially social media. Colleges look at this social media, it's like, oh, you're an animal, nah, we're not going to admit you.
I didn't have that problem. We didn't have anything.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you can you can go to Southwest Texas.
Yeah, but look at like the wealth of data that somebody has to evaluate a person who has spent that much time on social media. Like, you can sit there and in 20 minutes look through it and just know almost everything about somebody's life and how they behave and everything by just going through their social media accounts.
Right, I agree. There's a lot of times that we're out in public or whatever, and you're just like, hey, these people, don't post that. I don't want people to know that I'm away from my home. I'm on vacation. It's like, oh, Skip's in Florida. Let's go rob his house.
I see some dumbass people all the time that they post all the time.
I'll be in Europe for 3 weeks. Well, I know where that guy lives. Let's go take his crap.
Just serving it up. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I definitely believe that a lot of this stuff is a distraction. It might not just be, the transgender stuff.
The submarine thing the other day.
Man, there was ties. If you look into it, one of the chairmen on the board of Ocean Gates was tied to, like, Giselle Maxwell. Was it
Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yeah, Ghislaine. Yeah. They're all tied together. All these board of directors, they're in cahoots.
Yeah, there was some World Economic Forum ties or something.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah.
That's what sucks about a lot of this, is that, like, things happen that we know are not playing out like the way it's portrayed, like in the national news and everything. Like, there's different agendas and different things happening and how they really occurred and who caused them. It's like, but we can never know like 100% how these things really went down.
Yeah. Why is the United States FBI involved with that wreckage? Did you know that?
No.
They have FBI down there. They have CIA down there. They have all kinds of people.
And this wreckage is in international waters, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the FBI only operates on
that should
domestic grounds.
Yeah, why?
The CIA gets involved with anything everywhere, but the FBI shouldn't be involved with that.
The FBI is way involved in it to see if there was any kind of criminal mischief.
And there could have been. They could have taken one of those people out for any given reason. They could have used it solely as a distraction. But the fact that there's a lot of rich people on that sub,
lots of rich people,
it makes me wonder.
Who are they tied to?
But now everybody's talking about, because of that and the fact they were viewing the Titanic, all this stuff is out there now about people actually looking at the real reasons why the Titanic sank.
Correct.
So that is so one of the byproducts is that, like, it's everywhere now.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody who pays attention to anything would actually believe like that it happened the way it did.
It was the three dudes that were against the Treasury.
Yeah, against the Federal Reserve.
Federal Reserve, yes.
It's, Guggenheim, Strauss, and John Jacob Astor.
Yeah, so they were so everybody was going, and all the other guys that were for the Treasury backed out of that trip.
Correct.
And they stayed for some reason.
J.P. Morgan and some other people. Yeah. There's other stuff with
Jury in the ocean.
The what?
They had jewelry in the ocean.
There's other stuff about them having, like there was 2 boats. I can't remember the name of the other boat. It was supposed to be a sister ship of the Titanic, and that they actually sank that boat. That doesn't even matter much to me. Like the biggest thing that matters is why they sunk it.
Correct. So supposedly the Titanic, right before the cruise happened, because the Titanic was the unsinkable ship, they swapped names, put them on the other boat that was sinkable. I mean, that's a
I thought
conspiracy.
they were like the same.
It was a sister, but the real Titanic, supposedly in the stories, was really unsinkable. If they had a hole in the hull or whatever, you could block that stuff off. And
see, it's one of the crazy or the conspiracy theories I heard was that basically that submarine was going down to do something to try and like remove a serial number or something off that wreckage, because they knew that when they got found, they'd realize that that was not the Titanic. That was, but you know,
how can
that
they do
seems
that,
pretty
Matt?
far fetched. Yeah,
And,
I don't know.
and so they said that the Ocean Gate submarine had the controllers was basically like an Xbox 360 controller. What? And this was like the 18th time they went down in one of those things.
Dude, if I was going down that far, I'd want like, you know,
I want
some
steering wheel.
state of the art stuff. I mean, like a big pilot's chair. You know,
Maybe
like
a touchscreen, something. You
it
know,
looks
I
like
don't know.
something you see like in a submarine on TV.
It was a $29 remote control.
Exactly. The doctor's in the house.
Yeah, that's insane. And I don't.
It is.
Because how
And they
far?
had a window about this big to look out of.
You had like 16 people looking out the window and a little controller from Coleco.
All right. So speaking of stuff like that, I've seen a lot of videos lately, man, coming across Twitter and Telegram about fake NASA footage of all the astronauts like faking zero gravity stuff.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yep.
know you've seen them.
I've seen them in front of green screens when they
Yeah.
were wheeling in George Bush Sr. through like a NASA thing. There was a dude in front of a green screen and he's like juggling stuff, and they were videoing him. And here comes George Sr. in his wheelchair, you know, whatever. I'm like, there's one. They got water filling up in one of the videos the astronaut's mask, because they do all that stuff underwater. When they're in space, they'll have these little bubbles that come up on the screen. It's like, okay, they're videoing it. It's green screen. They're in the pool. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. I don't trust it.
No, I've seen a lot on that, and a lot on like these whistleblowers or people who claim that they're like their fathers, whatever, works in the military, and they talk about this. I can't remember the military base, but how they converted one of the hangars into one of the places where they shot a lot of this fake moon landing stuff. So they took an indoor hangar, they brought in like just tons and tons of cement, like cement dust, you know, like Quikrete kind of stuff, to create like your fake moon surface. They painted all the interior just black, and then they just talk about all the time how only like 7 people were allowed to go in.
Why do they bring Stanley Kubrick in?
Well, he claims, he claims that he shot all that. But I do think they shot all that.
I do too.
And I think probably some of it that we saw on TV, if not all of it, or not us, you know, back in '69, was probably that footage.
Yeah.
I still
Propaganda to say, yes, we made it. We were there first.
I still feel like we went in '69.
I don't know.
You don't think so?
I have no idea. I don't know. I know that that the aluminum foil that covers the rocket is about as thin. My fingernails are thicker than
It's
that.
okay, but think about a lot of like satellites and stuff they put up in telescopes that they put up and out into zero gravity, you know, into space. I mean, and they're not like these hard-walled like submarine type vessels. Like they can handle it. So I mean, why couldn't a craft that was made out of similar stuff, you know, be just fine? It's a different environment.
Sure.
Totally different.
Sure. How they get back? How they get back through our atmosphere?
Well, they had a different. I mean, supposedly they had a different entry craft. Like so, what you saw them come up off the moon is not what they approached Earth in. They went back and connected with the ship that they came on, took that ship back to Earth, and then took the vehicle that's made to enter Earth's atmosphere. Because that thing would just burn up in the atmosphere.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean it won't. It
Had
couldn't
that
hold
little
up in outer
upside
space.
down white ice cream cone looking thing that they came through,
Yeah.
and they hooked back up to it.
But it's like, okay, so when Neil Armstrong set first foot out there,
Uh-huh.
like on the ground, who filmed that?
Stanley Kubrick.
Well, it might have been.
I don't
I'm
know.
just looking at that, like when they show you and they show him coming down the thing. I mean, where is it? Is that from a camera that's like mounted? It must be from the only explanation would be it's a camera that's mounted to the spacecraft. That's looking right at like the ladder where he comes down.
Yeah.
So if it's not like a vantage point from the ladder, then it's an easy question.
I don't know.
It's simple.
I don't know.
All right. I've been seeing a bunch of flat Earth stuff lately, man. Like it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Are you seeing it a bunch?
Yeah.
You seen where they talk about like everybody talks about what's going on in Antarctica, and they're all saying now, like all these flat earthers, they're saying that there's an ice wall, like in Antarctica, and it's then the ice wall in Antarctica or whatever, it really actually goes around or something like the entire, and it's really what holds all the water in place. Because they don't believe in gravity, so they say, well, how can you be on the bottom of the planet and not fall off, or how can water be held there? They just kind of don't believe in gravity, I guess.
Right.
But that's their theory that I saw. This ice
Every
wall.
time they have like a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse, I never see like a rectangle across the moon or a rectangle across the sun.
They would have some kind of like comeback for you.
I don't believe that.
I think the whole thing is just a psyop. I think it's just like a psyop to distract you from other real stuff.
Like Biden said, I sold secrets. He just said that, yesterday?
Yeah, then he just said, like, just today, he said something. He's talking about, like, Ukraine's doing good and the war in Iraq.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, he don't even know.
So they had some
country
Ukraine footage, and they had, like, tanks in the middle of, like, downtown or whatever. They had this dude sweeping the street or whatever, and there's all kind of people just, like, taking, videos with their phones and shit. It was like, dude.
You've seen all the footage of the military movement, like in the States?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't either.
But if something was going to go down, wouldn't you want your military to be prepped and ready and staged up?
What if they're prepping ready to come take our shit?
No. And they're not, because I don't believe that Biden and like the deep state has control of the military.
What about all the people that are coming into our nation? What if they go, because it's not just people from Mexico, they're coming up from Nicaragua or whatever, and they're like, you come up and then you fight for us because we're going to take over this country and it's going to be your country. Because there's not a lot of women and children anymore. It's fighting age males.
There's a lot of, they said there's a lot of Chinese and stuff coming across the border too. Like,
I haven't seen them.
But I mean, that'd be pretty organized if you're like bringing them across like as illegals. Not that you couldn't, like, just bring them over and just say, okay, we're going to call you up, basically.
I got a buddy that works in Chicago, and he posted this today. And last night they were walking the streets of Chicago, and there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of migrants on the streets of Chicago. He goes, it's like this every night. I mean, it's little kids running around. There's women and children, men just sitting around, no place to go, right in the middle of Chicago, hundreds of them. He goes, this is where they're dropping them off.
Trump put out a thing the other day, and I didn't know about it until I saw it on, I think, X22. And it was this, he just comes on and he does these pre-recorded speeches all the time. We put them out on True Social, and he'll say, this is a major problem we have, this is how I'm going to address it. Here's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
It's all very intelligent, and then so this one was about like all these illegals that are in the country. And he's basically saying he's going to enact this like Eisenhower era policy. Something that Eisenhower did, or somebody in that era, that they used like military and all kind of people to very swiftly and quickly go grab a whole bunch of illegals and deport them. Like especially like violent criminals and everything, like all in one fell swoop. And there's some kind of legislative act or something back in the day, but he's telling you flat out, here's what I'm going to do. And so
he's got answers. It's like, we're going to look at this and we're going to make it right. He tells it, it's like, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have the conversation with this. We're friends with him. We're friends with him. And we're going to fucking do it. And I can get it done in 24 hours. Which he has said that about the Ukraine war. He
said that multiple times.
Yeah, in the interview with Trump, they said, well, do you want Ukraine to win? He goes, I want people to stop dying.
Yeah, that was a good answer.
Good answer. Good answer. I want people to stop dying too.
It's going to get crazy, man. I keep telling you, like, it's going to get nuts.
Yep. I'm ready. Already, I got some those MREs.
You
Just in
should.
case. I got a pool just in case we need to flush the toilets. I
You
got
can
water
flush
for
your
days,
toilets.
Bubba. Got enough firewood in the backyard to burn down half a pearland.
You just need fresh water and food.
Yep. I got those bird feeders we can live off of Blue Jays and Cardinals.
Ain't much meat on those, man. Very much at all.
Yeah, I have started growing some cucumbers and squash, tomatoes and peppers. So I'm getting that stuff, learning how to grow things, and so I want to have a big
You're
old
not
garden.
the only one, man. A lot of people are starting to do this.
I want to grow.
It's
I
good.
want to grow, man.
It's
grow
the only
more
way.
stuff.
I mean, it's the only way to be like feel somewhat safe about what you're actually eating. It's like to grow it yourself.
Sure.
But it's better. It's just better. I had,
Oh,
some-
they're sweeter. Everything just tastes so much better.
I had cucumbers earlier, fresh, man.
Fresh?
Just perfect.
I've grown squash in my backyard before, and just basically I would take them off the vine and start eating them. Sweet, fresh.
We need to try grapes. You can do grapes in this climate pretty easy. Like you just have to put up like some racks or something on the fence.
Huh.
My
That way we
back
can-
porch and Katie had grapevines growing
Yeah.
all in it.
Then we just need to start making wine. Like,
Oh,
we need to start
yeah.
making grapes and growing.
They can make it in
growing
prison. We
marijuana.
can do it in the backyard.
Hey, go get a can of Welch's frozen grape juice and some sugar, and you can make it real easy.
Oh, yeah.
Just grape juice and sugar? What?
And let it ferment.
Just have to ferment.
Really?
I've done it. Real grapes are way better.
I never tried it. Never tried doing that.
No, man. We went 3 minutes and 59 seconds longer than we were supposed to.
All right, I'll split it up in half again. Hey, thank you, everybody. Y'all have a great week.